the weight, the stiffness, the practical features, the potential plushness, the travel of this new 36SL make it brilliant lightweight aggro trail fork for properly aggressive riders. However, hey up, I'm Guy Kesterman, the Tester Man, and this is my live ride review of the brand new Fox 36SL lightweight, hyper aggressive trail fork. So, 36SL is the new lightweight 29er 120mm to 140mm trail fork, and it's a completely new chassis, windowed, what they call generatively designed, so basically AI kind of configured arch. You've got a much more sculpted crown, you've got new lowers with the bypass channels moved to the inside, obviously still 36mm stanchions but they're shorter, and it's 1780 grams cut to fit the trek with one volume token in, no fender. It's a really light fork as well for its category, 40 grams heavier than the old 34, but then you've got 20mm more bushing overlap, and according to Fox, 20% more stiffness. And having spent a few weeks hammering this fork, I can certainly testify that this is a much stiffer, more accurate fork than that 34. This feels much more like harder hitting trail fork, and in that genre it's 140 grams lighter than the RockShox Pike, 150 grams lighter than even the latest lighter 36, and 200 grams or more lighter than Olin's, Cane Creek, Formula, Mazzocchi, all those other mid-travel candidates. Alright folks, yeah. And it can be ridden every bit as hard too. And you've got the same set of dampers as you had previously, so this is running Grip X, but you can also get it with Grip X too. But as Grip X has that high speed compression, effectively a lockout lever, and it's 100 grams lighter, or 70 grams lighter, I can't remember, the figures seem to vary depending who you ask, but it's significantly lighter than Grip X2 anyway. So not quite as many dials. Basically you don't get high and low speed rebound, you only get low speed, but you still get a high and low speed damping. It's like 16 clicks of one, 15 of the other, can't remember exactly which, but a very fine compression adjust. And you get the new Glide Core air spring, where the air spring shaft is actually sat on little elastomers, so it's isolated from braking and steering loads that keeps the whole fork plusher when you're pushing it hard. And that new Glide Core air spring, that realigned overflow pipe on the inside leg, longer bushings, all make for a smoother, more plush fork when you're just easing it in and out of the stroke in the workshop. And even on stuff like this, you can feel top of the fork is really buttery. So while I'm having a bit of a shite riding day and I'm buffering oh god, there's a classic example, buffering my words as well, there is still plenty of traction and grip, whoa, certainly more on the front than on the rear with this Rick XC on. However, those dampers definitely on the firm side for more janky natural stuff at slower speeds. And unsurprisingly, you know, that works really great for like parky, firmy, sendy stuff. Hey! I did the gap for once. And you can feel it really riding a lot higher in the turns, turning in a lot sharper, having come off the kind of softer feeling RockShox Lyric, which is impressive because that's a 2 kilo fork, and you know, this is 200 grams lighter than that. So the fact it actually feels sharper steering and more targeted than the Lyric, it's pretty damn impressive. So, still set up for a 180mm rotor, but you've now got 4-bolt fender mount. It's easy to put on. You've got that cassette tool top cap that I talked about on the Instagram recently. So it's a more practical fork to set up and work with, but still catering for that lighter weight, smaller rotor crowd, whereas the full 36 is now a 200mm rotor setup. So if you've got a short to mid travel trail bike that you like really pushing hard and hunting bigger bikes on, driving out of turns, pumping jumps, you know, something like Tall Boy, where you've got that aggressive geo and a naturally punchy suspension feel and the chassis stiffness to really make the use out of a stiffer fork, then this 36SL is going to be absolutely brilliant for that kind of bike. And if you take a bit of air pressure off, so it does sit into its travel a bit more, you can get a little way into the damping. But at 70 kilos and, you know, fairly aggressive, but certainly not ex-BMX background rider. So, if that sounds like you, you know, you bought a short travel bike for the thrill and the immediacy and responsiveness, I have to say, to be fair, it feels awesome through here, especially as I'm running it with the live valve Neo box shock on the back, which is naturally quite a firm setup. You see there, I'd often be braking, squealing through there, but because it's got so much support in the turns, it actually feels like you can just hook everything harder, later, faster. It's a proper enabler of aggressive riding. But then when you just back it off a bit onto just ripple stuff like this, you can really feel how you sat on that damping. And I'm not even running much. I'm running about 30% compression damping, but very little low speed damping. I can really feel the ground through my hand. And the best way I can describe it is it's that you've got the suspension set up perfectly, but a really hard, high pressure tyre on the front. So there you go. That's my review of this latest Fox 36SL. I think the weight, I think the stiffness are absolutely spot on for the category. If you're after a really aggressive, high control fork for a short travel bike in that, you know, well, guess 100 to 140mm travel region. But considering they've made all these improvements to remove stiction out of what was already a potentially very smooth fork with that glide core air spring and the bushings and, you know, little port changes and stuff, having those channels down the inside of the leg. And you can feel it really does have the potential to be a super smooth fork. But again, that latest generation of grip dampers just feels to me like they're just firmer than necessary. If I manipulate the air spring and I can get a little way into the high-speed compression on it, but I'm still whined right out on the low speed. When you compare it to other forks, particularly the RockShox forks, I can sit comfortably mid-range on their compression damping now, and I could do that with the previous generation Fox as well. So I mean, I know it's not a universal opinion that I know other reviewers I've seen think the current damper is absolutely spot on. Maybe they're more aggressive riders than me. Maybe they ride more park stuff than I do. But for sort of off-piste, high traction stuff, it is still a very, very chattery fork. And I know we've gone into this before, but I know Specialized deliberately run a softer tune on the compression tunes on bikes like the Stump Jumper. And I presume I wouldn't be surprised if this appears on something like the Epic Evo as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they went for a softer tune on that, because I do think it really does limit the potential of this fork to be an absolutely outstanding option for everyone in this category, because it's lighter than Pike, it's got better mid-stroke control than Pike, but that mid-stroke control comes at the expense of pure plushness and traction, and a smoother, kind of more forgiving all-round fork. It's a bit of a beast, even though it is lighter. It's definitely a 36, because I mean, that same damper in the 34 I got on with okay. And to be fair, as you've seen, you know, I almost had to change my script while I was reviewing this. When I'm fully on it, I've been riding like an absolute idiot today, as you'd probably have guessed, but the times I have got on top of the fork, it's riding brilliantly. But throughout my experience, this isn't the only ride I've done on it. I've done 4 or 5 rides on it now. Probably 6, actually. Spent a lot of time on this fork, comparatively. But still, just feel like it's really, really sitting on the damper, rather than letting me make full use of that super smooth new chassis and air spring. So, as always, let me know what you think of your experience with Fox forks, RockShox forks, or any fork in this category or otherwise, and whether you think Fox have done the right thing, making their dampers firmer or not, and whether you think this fork would suit the way you ride and the bike you ride. But click for notifications, subscriptions, give it a thumbs up, like if you've enjoyed it, and if you really want to help the channel, then please consider supporting me on Patreon with a small monthly donation, because that makes a massive difference to the sustainability of Guidecast TV. But for now, thanks for watching. Keep your eyes peeled for the 34 SL review coming up soon. She'll be back-to-backing with the Sid, the Manitou, and I've got the Cane Creek helm coming in for another short travel review, and hopefully the Öhlins RX34. And then we'll have a complete set, and I can do a proper sort of head-to-head comparison on all of them. So, any intel on any of that, folks, gratefully received. And if there's anything you'd like to know about this fork that I've missed out in this review, then please get busy in the comments. But thanks as always for watching. See you on the trail, or just on here for the next video.